4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
Hey, welcome back to another HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan, where we have good conversations with good people, and any good conversation worth having is worth having drunk. So cheers, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you're not partaking in the whiskey festivities this afternoon, but that is A-okay with us. We don't judge, but we still like to have some. So this is our break for the week. Hump day. This week, we got Dylan Kessler on the show and Johnny Wenzel. They are both working with ServiceTitan in the Google Ads integration team. Would that be an accurate description?
Yeah, we're the ad specialists over here at ServiceTitan.
Ad specialists.
Yeah.
And this is something that Johnny actually was the first one that I connected with back in the fall of this last year. And I was blown away by that first conversation that we were having around what it was that ServiceTitan was working on for Google Ads. And what he was really starting to reveal to me was the amount of agencies out there, contractors that are just wasting money on Google Ads. And it's not cheap. Google Ads is one of the most expensive marketing platforms that a business can use especially in the trades right now. And the amount of wasted dollars that goes into it is absolutely remarkable. And it never ceases to amaze me when we do an ad audit for a potential client or just a friend in the industry trying to help them out and give them some feedback on what they can do to improve, the amount of wasted spend that exists in there. And so I'm super excited to nerd out with both you guys and dive into the deep of what it takes to really improve this one aspect of how to get your ad dollars to work extremely hard for you and make sure that every single dollar counts. So thanks so much for joining us this week, guys. I'm excited for this conversation. So why don't we just dive in with this and just kind of explain a little bit of your background, how you got into your role here with ServiceTitan, and then we'll dive into the deep of what wasted ad spend really is and what it looks like.
Sure thing.
So Dylan, why don't we start with you, bud?
Yeah, sounds good. So my name is Dylan Kessler. I'm a principal product manager at ServiceTitan. Been with the company for a little over 2 years, and I spent the last 15 plus years evangelizing marketing tech, helping build product for it, studying how businesses collaborate with each other, and then building better collaboration features into marketing tech as well.
Cool. That's my cue.
Johnny.
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow. Jeez, Dylan. So I've been with ServiceTitan for a year and a half. Before that, I worked at a marketing agency focused on the trades. My role there was kind of the PPC manager. So I managed a team of everyone who did everything PPC. While there, I started to get into some ad tech to integrate your ads with your CRM, and actually did a lot with ServiceTitan specifically, which is what led to certain conversations that got me the job. ServiceTitan, I mean, they're very serious about this problem that you laid out, Evan, to the point where they found someone who knew about ads and hired them, and someone who knew about ad tech and hired them specifically to solve these problems. Because we see many of our customers and users struggling, suffering from ads really to try and make it profitable. So I'm really happy to be working on this team and solving these problems.
Amazing. Well, one of the things that stood out to me right away when we first met Johnny was, one, like the intellect that you have around ads is remarkable. And not only that, but knowing specifically the industry of the trades and being able to help people in this space improve their Google Ads accounts. But the other thing that really stood out to me was the level of care and concern that you had for contractors. It's something that I know a lot of marketers will talk about, how there's some level of concern that, and I've heard you say this too as well, of like, there is no marketing company that you've ever met or I've ever met that truly has malicious intent behind what it is that they do. And yet there's still things that they do that end up costing contractors a lot of money. And that's really what you're trying to get to the bottom line of. So I guess just to preface all of this, what is wasted ad spend? And then we'll start diving into how is it that people can really start to identify where those holes are within their marketing spend.
Sure. So I'll maybe take the first half and talk about wasted ad spend, and I'll pass to Dylan on the different things, ways that we've seen to fix it. But wasted ad spend, it's kind of maybe a scary term, because it's like wasted ad spend, and we're almost kind of coining that because it is a big problem, and we really want people to have that small sense of panic. Am I wasting ad spend? Because there's a good chance that you are. So really, it's dollars that you're spending on advertising that are unproductive. They're not leading to moving people down the customer journey, down the funnel towards becoming a customer. And what we've really been trying to do at ServiceTitan is finding a way to measure that, because the issue comes in, there's kind of like this invisible barrier between what the agency's doing, what the marketing team's doing, and what's actually happening in the business.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really talk to each other. And so the agency historically in this space is focused on getting the best cost per lead, as many leads as possible for as cheap as possible, which is a really good leading metric, leading indicator. But as we dug into the problem, listened to a lot of calls, and we're able to tie everything together, we saw that all calls are not created equal. And there's a lot of, and Google's just going to get you the cheapest call. And often the cheapest call is a less competitive call, like a duct clean or an inspection or a tune-up, something that's low ticket. And so it's like, we're winning, we're getting you all of these, when the business wants installs and higher ticket items. And so budget choices, where you're spending money, keywords that are maybe generating calls but no conversions because you're kind of missing the intent of the keyword, you're targeting the wrong person. Not taking into account capacity, where your job board is booked up for 2 weeks and so nothing's closing, but you're still spending money on those calls. All of these are ways that spend is being wasted, and it is possible to identify and reduce that waste through, I guess, technology solutions.
Absolutely. And so Dylan, with the work that you're doing right now with ServiceTitan, how is it that you're going about trying to plug some of these holes in terms of wasted spend?
Yeah, so we've kind of made it our mission to help our customers better measure ads, and just we want to build trust and transparency in your ads operation, in your marketing operation, where you're putting all this money into it. We want to dial it down to your individual campaigns. So we have features available today in ServiceTitan that you can link up to your Google Ads account and your Google Analytics account, kind of plug into your digital ecosystem there, right? And then you can start measuring the ROI of your individual campaigns to see, first things first, which of my campaigns are profitable, which are unprofitable. We also show you which campaigns are booking better than others, and you can go in and listen to phone calls and see why that is. You can also see which types of jobs are coming in off of which different individual campaigns. So you can take all that info, and if you look at the data that you have in Google Ads, you can see which keywords are in the campaigns that are winning and which keywords in the campaigns that are losing. We also attribute to the ad group, so you can see which keywords are in that ad group that's winning versus that ad group that's losing within the campaign. So we really want to give our customers the ability to have that kind of full visibility all the way down the customer journey, from impression all the way through to revenue on an individual campaign level. So you can get in there with your agency or your marketing professional that you trust, and then make adjustments based off this new information that you probably didn't have before. And that's really the key, is uncovering waste that you didn't know you had, then applying that money into working campaigns. So it's basically taking a losing venture, putting it into all your winning ventures that you have, and then you see profit. So step 3 is always profit, right? And so that's what we want to go for. And I think our vision on this is to look at all the different aspects of ServiceTitan, or of your business that are connected to ServiceTitan or connected to another system in some sort of way, and then create visibility where there could be wasted spend opportunity, like Johnny was alluding to, and then give that visibility to our customers so they can, effectively increase their marketing ROI and then scale their business, and then everybody wins.
No, it's really quite remarkable what it is that is being built out on ServiceTitan, because it's empowering contractors to not take charge of their Google Ads campaign, because that shit's really complicated. And I really would encourage any contractor that's trying to do it themselves to take more of a 30,000 foot view as to what it is, so you can just ask the right questions around your ads campaign. Why is this doing this? How can we optimize this? Questions like that. So then your technicians on the Google ad side can go in and make the fixes and make the repairs and suggestions and come up with solutions. So what would be some of those things that contractors should be on the lookout for in terms of wasted spend? What would be a couple of the high level things that are really easy to find that would start to give them an indication that dollars are being wasted?
Well, I've shared this story before. And I got actually before that, I'll highlight our good friend Sarah at ServiceTitan just sent me a message saying, dude, you two are matching. We really need branded shirts. Thanks for watching, Sarah. And sorry that
we could send you an HVAC revealed hat, except for the pink and the black are out of stock right now. So
I would wear it. That would be great. Please do.
It's been called out enough. I'm going to go throw a jersey on, a ServiceTitan jersey.
Do it. He'll be back soon. Anyways, the story that I've shared a lot is this was at Pantheon, our user conference. And we were talking about ad waste and a little bit about our solution on stage, Dylan and I. And I asked the question, how many of you know your ROI on Google Ads? I was expecting like half of them to put up their hands, maybe something like that. But I asked the question, and there's probably 300 people in the room, and at most 5 of them put up their hand. So 2% of people. And I was blown away. I thought it'd be half, like we could help half of you a lot, but that's everyone. Like no one knows. And those who put up your hand, maybe you don't even actually know. You think you do or whatnot. So the answer to that question, if you don't know what your ROI is on Google Ads, if you can't answer that, or someone in your organization can't answer that, or your marketing agency can't answer that, that is like a huge bonfire on the beach. There is wasted ad spend going on here.
Yep.
So then let me ask you this question, in terms of the wasted ad spend and what you have there. That's a nice jersey. Now you're not the white shirts versus the hats. So
there you go.
Perfect. Love that. So when you look at, obviously the first question becomes those ROI, right? I mean, if you know your ROI, then you can determine where your wasted ad spend is. If somebody's never even looked at this, or they have a marketing company who might not even know where to begin to look at an ROI, what are some steps that somebody can do and somebody can take to be able to figure this out and find out what their exact ROI is from their ad spend?
Right. So the solution we built simplifies that. There are ways to do it without our solution. They're a lot more complex. So you could make sure that every phone call that comes from ads, so in your ads account itself, points to a ServiceTitan campaign. And then there's different call tracking solutions, or like website personalization tools that you could use that would also show like a Google PPC phone number on your website, so that every call that comes in that's actually from Google Ads, you can see that in ServiceTitan. And so you can get that, or potentially just having landing pages only for Google Ads and having a ServiceTitan number on those landing pages is kind of the way we've seen done a lot before. So that's kind of like the step one of what you can do, and you can at least see for the whole channel, for the whole of all of your Google Ads cost and revenue side by side. And that's the more sophisticated marketers have solved that. They're already doing that now. And as Dylan said, we've just taken that the next step. Instead of looking at the whole channel, that's to like kind of highlight there's a problem, things are good, things are bad. You can't really dig deep to see where and how much and how to fix it. Our tool gives that granularity of showing revenue at the keyword level, so you can see which keywords are actually being productive, which ones aren't.
Well, and that's where, I mean, I know we've talked a lot about ServiceTitan so far, and of course you guys are a part of ServiceTitan, so it's going to get talked about a lot, and it's going to continue to get talked about a lot on the show. But I just want everyone who's listening or watching to this to know you don't need ServiceTitan in order to do these things. Like Johnny just said, it is more difficult because there's a lot of complexities that come into that with call tracking and attribution when it comes to linking it back into whatever your CRM is that you're using. But you can do it on any software. It's just going to take a little bit of effort in order to properly do those attributions. This kind of leads into the next conversation I want to talk about, which is setting the budgets. And right now, you know, Texas just had their first triple-digit week. You're seeing temperatures rise across the country, except for up here in Alberta, where it's still, I think we got up to 18 degrees the other day. Celsius.
It's 50.
Not
It's
Fahrenheit.
58 Fahrenheit right now. Outside.
There you go.
There you go.
Still very cold. For the rest of the country, and even, I mean, Christ, Eastern Canada is 80, 90 degrees right now. The amount of call volume that's coming in is naturally increasing. So what are some steps that business owners can take to properly throw in that variable speed motor kind of thing where you're able to adjust your ad spend depending on what your book call, your dispatch board looks like?
Dylan, do you want to take a swing at it? You want me to do it?
I mean, this is definitely kind of an ad ops question about what to do in seasonality and in like temperature spikes and all of that.
Yeah.
And you wrote the book on it. I'm going to let you answer.
I did. I'm talking a lot, but yeah, and that's not promising news about the weather. I'm actually coming up to Calgary in 4 days. So
Shit, give me a call. Let's go grab a coffee.
I
I was about to say drink, and I'm like, all right, you don't drink, so coffee is.
Yeah, well, so yeah, that'll be fun. It has 3 days to warm up for me, but
just in time for snowy May long weekend.
Yeah, for those who don't know, in Alberta, Canada, it rains every May long weekend every year.
Yeah. And usually you wake up at least with snow on the ground. I mean, it melts, but you wake up with snow on the ground.
Yeah. So using that to qualify myself as someone who has seen seasonality, lived through all 4 seasons because I grew up in Calgary and lived a few other places. So it's a very tricky question because the Google Ads game is really mostly about smart bidding or Google's machine learning AI. Their algorithms are doing the bidding for you. And there's something called kind of I call it momentum. There's probably a term for it, but like smart bidding momentum, where if you're going in there and you're tweaking budgets, moving them up and down all the time, what happens is Google resets the campaign and starts to ignore your historical data. So it gets tricky because you're no longer as profitable because calls just aren't booking because the volume's so high and you're getting full. And so you don't want to waste money, but if you were to pause that campaign for just a day or two, then you might lose that momentum and then long-term performance will be worse. So in general, I like to not make big changes unless I'm absolutely sure that, you know, like it's hurting me to be losing this money. I'm so full that there's no chance something's going to get booked. Another strategy I like to do is breaking out my account. This is a bit more technical. So this is for any PPC nerds out there, you can take this one. But take every campaign that I have and then kind of like make copies of them and only put like worst performing ad groups, worst performing zip codes or postal codes in that one and kind of have like my highly profitable version of that campaign and then a less profitable version of that campaign. And you could pull a report from your CRM of, what's the most profitable zip codes and just include those zip codes in my like more profitable campaign. And then as you get full, pause your least profitable one, or just lower the budget on that and keep your campaign with the winning ad groups just kind of consistently flowing with that momentum.
And just to be clear, because there is so many different forms of bidding that you can do within ads, if you do switch from AI assisted bidding strategy over to a manual bidding strategy, you're still going to see the same momentum drop, correct?
Yeah, if you were to just like lower your budget a little bit, it might not affect it. And so that I would recommend that, like lowering your budget, but things that do affect it, changing your bid strategy, pausing or
pausing a campaign.
Yeah, or making like drastic changes to the content of it.
Right.
Within can do that. So, yeah, it's a tricky game where it could be working perfectly 1 month, and then the next month you made no significant changes and it stops working.
Totally.
The algorithm failed, and so as an agency, you just kind of got to do the best you can, try and minimize changes, and obviously if things take a turn for the worse, whether because of operations or the market, pivot as soon as possible and try and get back on track.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways that can go.
Well, I wanted to go with so you've got AI relying on your bidding. With that comes an experienced ad account versus a brand new ad account. What would be the advantage? Because there's we see this a lot with competitors in the marketing space where they want to run an ad account through their own ad account as opposed to running it through yours as a business. I know you said you've seen this a lot in terms of helping businesses integrate into ServiceTitan and them not having access to their Google Ads account. What are the advantages of having an agency run it through their own ad account versus running it through yours? And is it worth that advantage to give up the rights and the data of your own ad account?
That is a phenomenal question.
I'll take the technical point, and I'll let Dylan take the ethics side of it.
All right. I love it.
We share the opinion of that. So technically, you can kind of have your cake and eat it too, because usually an agency wants to keep it in there's something called an MCC account, which is a managed account that has all of their clients under it. By having more dollars flowing through their account, they can actually get some benefits from Google, where they get like additional support. They can get a dedicated rep. They'll let you like get a pinball machine or something.
Vending machines,
yeah, the good
sunglasses.
stuff.
Yeah.
The support is the most important though, where they'll give a very qualified person to look at your accounts and help you through that, which is a benefit to the agency and their clients. But it's like premier partnership is what you might know it as. And so there's all those benefits and you would want to have in your account. There is, when it is in an agency's account, you can do something, and I would want your agency to be as transparent with you as possible with this. You can create conversion sharing kind of between accounts, and so you can have one of your accounts leverage the conversion data of another account in a way that that momentum can build faster, and you can kind of find a bigger data set so it works better. But they should definitely inform and get permission before doing any of that, because legally, whoever is spending the money, whoever's credit card is on the account, owns it and owns the data. So, but with all of that, you as a business owner can still have full access to that account without being able to see any of their other accounts. It's not one or the other. The shop can have full access, the agency has full access to that one and all their others, and there's clear boundaries and permissions. Go ahead, Dylan, on your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like the advertisers should own their own data, right? If you get into the world of ad tech, And generally this is how it's managed, regardless agency or not. If the person who's spending money on the budget doesn't actually own their data and can't get to it, then when they want to change or make changes, then they are beholden to whoever actually does own that data and holds the keys. And so I think what it really comes down to is, if I have an HVAC business and I'm spending 20 grand a month on Google Ads, then I feel like I kind of own data, especially the performance data coming out of that 20 grand a month that I'm spending. And so I think it's really important for advertisers to have transparency and own their data, regardless of the marketing professional that is helping them advertise.
So let me ask you this question then. So there are certain instances out there, and this creeps up every now and again, every now and again, quite a bit, that there are certain, I'm not going to get into names or anything on the such on that, just because I don't want to incriminate anybody, or if this is the case and it's not the case, whatever. There's certain companies out there that build it all in their own agency account. And if you're the advertiser, you're the HVAC company that is giving them the money, how do you bring up a conversation with the agency to say, hey, this might not be the right way to do that. I want to see the access in my data. I want to be able to, share that back to my account, as Johnny mentioned, perhaps with some conversion sharing data coming back into my way. So that way, if the relationship does sour, that I can still have the power to be able to impact my business. Are there certain things that a person should do or say with their agency?
I mean, yeah, I think there are. Ultimately, to me, what it comes down to as a business owner, right? It comes down to, if you're going to build my website, I want my website files, at the end of the day. So if I have to hire someone else, or you get sick, I can hire someone else and they can help me with my website. It's the same thing for the ads account. What if something happens, God forbid, the agency doesn't have access to the internet for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden the ads accounts are just sitting there, right? And so I think for sake of you owning those aspects of your business that you're paying for, I think that it's a totally honest conversation to have and reasonable thing to ask.
No, I completely agree. It's something that I have heard one person explain it where I somewhat understood, like one person on the marketing side. He's another agency owner. He's down in Florida, another space. Like, he's not in HVAC, he's lawn care. He's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, friend of ours. And, he was talking about the protection of the ad account itself in terms of how they structure it, the keywords they put into it, the negative keyword list that's thousands long, right? There's a lot of value in that. And if you did it in someone's account, they could just take it and run. So his thing is, after their year agreement is done, they own the ad account at the end of that. So he gives it to them. I understand that. He questioned me on, because our policy is we build it in your account. We understand that, we can share the conversion data, but the chances are it's probably going to take a little bit longer for this thing to kick off, right? It's not going to get the same kickstart power that it would if it were straight out of our account. And the ethics of that, as you said, Johnny, and the moral aspect of it for us, the value that we give to the customer is far greater than anything else. And we just want to believe in people that they're going to do the right thing, that no one's just going to take that after 1 month, cancel their credit card, and just disappear off the face of the earth. It's happened one time to us, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it, because we're just doing right by people, and that feels good. Mm-hmm. Plus, we're Canadian, so we'll say sorry even when we get results for people. So
if you're creating shared wins, right, on any kind of team or operation or anything like that, you're going to keep wanting to create shared wins together if it's working. Right.
I like that. So in the aspect of shared wins, and one of the topics I wanted to get into is holding your agency accountable. And obviously we're talking, Google Ads on, the data itself, but, Johnny had mentioned it earlier in that, and like in making sure there's accountability to each other. How do you create, as the business owner, accountability towards your marketing company to be able to get shared wins?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And as Evan mentioned, every agency has good intentions, but I'm going to pull up the hood on agency life. They all want to give you everything that you deserve, but it's hard to balance workload with the people to do that work. And there's like infinite things you can do in an ads account. Like you could spend all day, every day refining and tweaking and trying to perfect it. And every agency wants to do that, but they have, dozens, hundreds, whatever it might be, clients that they need to serve. And so often things kind of can get put on autopilot, and especially like Google does most of it now, and sometimes going in and changing things is going to make things worse than better. So it's possible that it just kind of goes on autopilot, especially if the results seem okay, because some other client that this agency has is busy holding them super accountable, right? It's if you're not holding your agency accountable, their other clients are, and they're getting all of their attention. So it's a mindset that, like you should kind of be annoying to your agency. I mean, like not rude and egregious, but up in their business, right? Asking the hard questions.
Yeah, a system of checks and balances at the least.
Yep,
for sure.
100%.
One thing
So how
I
can
say
you make
is
sure that relationship gets set from the beginning then? Like what are some questions that you should be asking in terms of expectations from what they're going to deliver and what you can push back on as the business owner to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck?
I think aligning on goals, aligning on how to measure success of those goals, looking at short-term versus midterm versus long-term, and realizing that digital ads is a minefield, as some of our earlier conversations was going, right? And so trust the expert that you're going with, build that relationship with them, establish those goals. And it's going to be a journey for you both where you'll hit those shared wins and then learn from shared losses along the way. And ultimately, hopefully it's just kind of going up, But I think being a home service contractor, knowing that you're the expert about your domain and your business, trusting the agency that you're partnering with to be the expert of digital ads and help guide you along that way.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
I like the shared losses part too. And I'll circle back to the checks and balances. Like I was having a conversation yesterday with a client about fail forward. And one of the things that when we first started our agency, we had a client when told me we just started our agency and we're probably going to fuck a few things up along the way. And he's like 100% okay, as long as you fail forward. And what he mean by that is, okay, you failed. What are your lessons so you don't repeat those lessons again? And having those conversations between your agency and your business, I think are going to be pivotal in that, because now you can say, all right, well, this happened. What are we going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again? And some of those things are going to be on the agency and some of those things are going to be on the business, because there's a give and a take. There's a back and forth that goes involved with that. So one of the things that I wanted to ask a little bit about in goals and expectations, and ServiceTitan obviously has Dialpad, has the ability to do call tracking, call listening as well. There's other tools and platforms. We have one for our agency that we use, OmniPoint 360, soon to be rebranded here in a bit, to be able to do call tracking where we listen as an agency to the calls themselves. If you're a business and you want to talk shared wins and setting these goals and these expectations, how do you give somebody the right, and obviously you guys are with ServiceTitan, giving somebody the right access into ServiceTitan to be able to let them do some of that as an agency. So you as a business owner now don't need to worry about that part of your business because the agency's listening to the calls.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that the agency, whoever's doing your marketing, needs access to call listening to any call. As I talked about, Google's machine learning handles a lot of the technical optimizations now. And so most of the optimizations are shifting to be more strategic. And almost like, I was actually talking to Evan about this on a call a little bit ago, that I used to hire engineers and mathematicians to run PPC. But if I were to go back into a role where I had to, I would go more towards a psychologist, and ideally a consumer psychologist, because the numbers are becoming more and more handled. But understanding your customers, understanding the sentiment behind these numbers which is only possible by listening to calls. And there is some
Mhm.
software, that does the word clouds and sentiment analysis, and that's all really helpful. But you absolutely need to be able to listen to phone calls, and optimization of an account is going to turn more and more away from looking at numbers and more listening to calls, understanding what's going on, and then making decisions based on that.
That
So,
consumer
and this is something
psychology.
that. Okay, go ahead, man.
No, yeah, that consumer psychology is an interesting point. And I saw an infographic. It was related to SEO, but the process in terms of where they're at in their search itself, or their customer journey, so to speak, or their product journey, whether they're gathering information, whether they're ready to make a decision, whether they've already made a decision, whether they're an advocate for you, and you can ascend them through that ladder is actually a very fascinating thing. So looking specifically at Google Ads in relation to the consumer psychology of things, what can a person do to better understand that part of things on the ad set level or campaign level?
Yeah, it's again a very ad ops question.
And look, I will paraphrase that if we are maybe getting too far into the weeds on some of the technical side of things, because I get kind of into some of the technical side of things, then maybe we could try to back that up a little bit on there if we need to. I'll put that as a caveat if we need.
I think these are great, and a great time to kind of plug that Johnny has actually written a whole bunch of best practices that are going to be part of our blog and our community website. So definitely, if you're a ServiceTitan customer, get involved there, and then you can start learning about some of these best practices and seeing them written down and recorded.
I'm trying really hard to call it the Bible of ads for contractors, but
Bible of home service marketing.
Yeah, people are pushing against that, and so for now, it's the definitive
Hitchhiker's Guide, whatever you prefer.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully, it comes out as the Bible. But
just the holy book, I think would work too.
the holy book,
the book of Johnny.
Book of Johnny. Yeah,
that could at least be a gospel within it, maybe.
Yeah, the Gospel of John, and then in brackets, me. Okay, I'm gonna get struck down on this call. So what are we talking about? Customer. Okay, yeah. So the exercise that I like to go through is, and it's really helpful to look at keywords. And with what we're doing, we're actually importing revenue back into the ads account, and so you can see the calls and revenue for every keyword, which is really helpful. But you don't even need revenue data to do this. It's when you're looking at the search term reports and the keywords that are in the data from that. Usually you can tell something's wrong. So if you have the revenue, it's not working well, the click-through rate's low, the cost per clicks are super high, they're just not turning into leads. It's kind of the big one. And really getting into the mind of a person searching for that thing. So what I do is those keywords, I actually like to take them and put them into Google and do the search myself. So let's say the keyword is furnace repair. Okay, you put that up there and then you search. And kind of Neil Patel gave this hack of putting that there. He's an SEO PPC expert. Putting your PPC keywords into search and seeing what the top organic results are, because Google's algorithm is going to prioritize, like they're pretty good at determining customer intent or searcher intent. So whatever organic articles are at the top likely represent what this person actually cares about. So for example, if you had the keyword you're bidding on HVAC, I'm going to do it right now. I'm not sharing my screen, but we'll see what pops up. When I search HVAC.
Do you want to share your screen? You can if you want.
I'll just read them out. So
sure.
The top searches are a Wikipedia article, and then there's a definition from petro.com, top HVAC software options for HVAC businesses in the news, then a supplier site, and then a Forbes article. What is HVAC? How does it work? So this keyword, if someone is typing in HVAC, based off of what I just read on organic, it's probably not actually a high quality search, and people are probably going to click your ads with no intention of looking for an HVAC company. But if I change my search, this is risky. If I change it to HVAC company, you get top 10 HVAC contractors near you, and then it's an actual, like 4 actual companies in my area. And so it's seeing these keywords, seeing their performance. Why isn't it working? Well, what's the intent? Someone searching for HVAC. It could be someone looking to get training. It could be someone looking for a job. It could be someone doing a school project on HVAC systems. Like that's what those people, and you will get a few people that are actually looking for someone to come fix their furnace. But if you have the keyword furnace repair, there's like 9 out of 10 of those searchers are probably your target market, as opposed to 2 out of 10 of people typing in HVAC. And so really trying to understand like what percentage of people who are using this keyword, this ad group, are actually relevant to me. And that's a way to identify ways to spend too. If it's one of those low ones, then you're wasting a lot of money on clicks for people who actually aren't interested in your services.
Well, and it's funny, Sarah, she's in our Facebook group right now, so it just shows up as Facebook user, but she typed in the comments, who searches HVAC? And it's true, not many people do. And yet you'd be so surprised how many people actually put that in as a keyword that they're trying to show up for, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And even worse, they'll show up as a broad match. So then who knows what it's going to show up for, right? The thing that we got into it a little bit a couple weeks ago, Johnny, which I absolutely was so fascinated by this, and I got into a deep dive with our ad specialist as well, talking about this, is buyer's intent. And what is the psychology of the buyer when they're doing that search? So if someone is searching for best HVAC company near me, they are looking for value. They're not looking for the cheapest. So catering your ad to then serve to that person is so fascinating for me. I love this conversation because we talk about it all the time when it comes to Facebook ads or YouTube ads. And this is something else we're going to get into a conversation with later. But having that same mentality when it comes to Google ads, like Google ads is the place where people are supposed to go when they already have a problem and they need a solution for it, right? That's what we've always talked about. Demand generation versus demand fulfillment, right? Demand generation is, I don't know, I have a problem. Demand fulfillment is, I know I have a problem and I need a solution. And so catering to that is one side of it, but also what is the psychology of the person? Someone who's searching cheap AC repair near me, very different psychology. We want to serve an ad that's going to speak to them with the language that is going to be impactful for them. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant in terms of a way to stand out from competitors when it comes to Google ads.
Yes,
Sorry,
I agree.
Evan might be reading some of the comments there. I've been kind of commenting on on some of the comments that are happening in there. I'm going back and forth with Al Levy about the calling it the Bible. He says stay away. I'm like, well, it could be a good way to be able to be different and differentiate yourself in the market. So perfect random segue into the random question generator. It is one of our favorite parts of the show. It is a random question that has absolutely nothing to do with anything that we're talking about, and the answer could also be absolutely random with nothing that it is that we're talking about. So we have one for each of you, but you guys got to make the choice. So let's go with Dylan first. You have choice A, B, or C.
And corresponding random question to whatever letter I choose.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to go with C.
C, what is the worst piece of advice you have ever received?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've received.
And if
so
they
much
work at
advice.
ServiceTitan, you probably shouldn't mention them by name.
No, it's not anyone at ServiceTitan. Trying to think. There's been a long line of bad advice I've received throughout the course of my life. I'm just trying to find the worst.
It makes sense. You're in California, so.
Exactly. Yeah, there are a lot of advice givers.
Stay in California. That's probably the worst piece of advice. And then
I mean, I get out and travel quite a bit, but yeah, it's something always pulls me back to sunny Los Angeles. I think worst piece of advice was when I was super young. I had like a couple teachers that would more try to push us into like what we were good at. And if I had listened to them and gone with like aptitude tests and like guidance like that, I would never be where I'm at today. And I've always kind of done the opposite, where when something's really challenging to me, like I lean into it and I want to learn all about it and dissect it and see how I can overcome that challenge. And then at the end of the day, if I can't do it, I can't do it, right? But which happens all the time. But I think like to kind of go with what's easy and go with what you're good at and go with what's comfortable. I think that's, looking back in hindsight, that's bad advice. I think leaning into the uncomfortable, leaning into the challenge, I think that's something that really like grows us as people.
Beautiful answer.
Okay,
cool. It was a beautiful answer. Well, if you look at even just the simple concept of like lifting a weight to grow a muscle, you don't grow a muscle by lifting a 2.5 pound weight. It's like, sure, you could lift it 1,000 times and then maybe you'll do something, right? But it's by straining the muscle, tearing the muscle, that it can actually grow. So brilliant point.
Thank you.
I like that. All right. Johnny's now like, okay, what's mine going to be? You have option 1, 2, or 3. Which one do you want?
I'll take 2.
Pirates or ninjas?
This is yeah. This is
literally, that's what the question is. It literally says pirates or ninjas.
It's funny because I have a 5-year-old kid who loves make-believe play, and like every once in a while I'll go all out. And so a month ago was ninjas, and 2 months ago was pirates. Wow. And this is like, we got the costumes. I drew like treasure maps. We created like this Shogun bad guy that like we drove around and we made ninja stars, all of that. Pirates ended really fun with us defeating the invisible Kraken, and ninjas ended up with my kid hitting his mom with a sword, like a cardboard sword, a bunch, and crying in tears. Did not go well. So pirates.
He cried in tears, or she did?
I'm pretty sure everyone involved, including myself, did. So
your son probably cried in tears when you took the sword away.
Yeah, when we had to shut it down and didn't get to finish the activity yet. So pirates went smoother.
Yeah,
and growing up, Pirates of the Caribbean was my thing. So
I was gonna go with Steve from Dodgeball, the Underdog.
Dodgeball.
Steve the pirate.
Steve the pirate.
You're scurry.
So just for anybody that is actually listening, that was a 100% random question. In like Johnny's like, yeah, we just did this in the last 2 months. No, that was 100% random.
Incredible.
That was awesome. So
I had a job interview once where they asked me what my favorite Ninja Turtle was and why. That was the question I had to answer.
All right. Well, what's your favorite Ninja Turtle and why?
I think it was Raphael because I'm a huge fan of pizza and he's the biggest fan of pizza. So
there you go. You can get all major food groups in one bite. Exactly. There you go.
Exactly. I don't know if any of them are not fans of pizza. Michelangelo is big on pizza.
Yeah. Maybe I'm switching those up. It might be Michelangelo. He might be the biggest one on pizza.
I think he's definitely the biggest one. He was the one, the orange cowabunga dude. Like he was the most laid back and chill.
And the nunchucks.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. And obviously nunchucks are the coolest weapon. So
yeah.
There you go. Raph is like super serious, like down to work. Like he likes his pizza, but he's gonna get shit done.
He's also the rebel.
This podcast took me back, and like now I have my Ninja Turtle hierarchy sorted, and like I don't think I'll ever forget again.
I wish I was still wearing my Ninja Turtles shirt. I don't know how old you all are, and this is kind of a little bit of a side. I think it was like 1990. The original Ninja Turtles live action movie was like one of the best Ninja Turtles movies around, the first one. Yes, and they had like 2, and they had like the time travel 3 one, and it was completely fucked. But like you look at some of the new stuff where like they CGI it, and it's like, no, man, go back to 1990. They had that shit dialed in for a movie. Yeah. Just do a reboot of that.
Saw that so much growing up.
Oh, one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, I actually kind of want to pull that off my old computer because it's downloaded and watch it.
Wish we could close this out with the ninja rap from the end.
Right?
Ooh, I like it. Getting back into the ads conversation, One of the things that we see a lot within the industry is concern over wasted clicks. So whether that's bots, competitors, funny enough, today Thad even posted, "Hey, marketers, don't click on an ad and then put in the lead form for you to generate more business for them."
And for the record, that wasn't on one of us. That was one of my clients. And I read this. I'm like, you're trying to get them to do, and it was somebody like in his local area with something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I wanted to just email the guy back and like set up a meeting and string him along and be like, yeah, okay, we're not going to do business because you just cost him money because
Right.
you like, it wasn't even a branded search term. It was a high end search term. So he's probably spending $50 to $60 for that click for him to submit that form in. Like, get fucked.
Right. Well, and then
Anyway.
it was Jamie Clark commented on it too. And he's like, yeah, we had 15 phone calls come in this last week from employees clicking our ads and calling the office. So there's a lot of wasted spend that has nothing to even do with how the ad account is set up. But what can businesses do, or what can a business owner do to talk to their marketing partner in order to put these roadblocks in place to minimize this kind of wasted spend?
So there are different options out there. The first thing is if they're reporting numbers to you like as a whole, that's usually not a good idea. You should break out your branded and non-branded into separate campaigns. They should be reported separately. And then you can maybe start to dig into the branded searches, like are employees clicking our branded ads, and like, do we need to IP block each of their houses? Like what's going on here? But there are actually some softwares out there that help with this. Kind of the one that's the most well-known is ClickCease, but there's a lot of others. I think they might have a free trial. Don't quote me on that. I mean, this is recorded live, so I'm quoted on it.
Just as on that ClickCease, if your
use
marketing agency is, we use it, so we pay for it and we use it for all of our ad accounts. It doesn't stop everything, but like your marketing agency should do shit like that too. If you're listening to this, ask them about ClickCease and if they use it.
Yeah, and what that does is just it detects if it's like from a geography that's irrelevant, from a VPN. It has its kind of algorithm to determine if it's a false click, and Google has this as well. Like they claim that if someone's going and like just clicking a bunch of ads and costing money, that they can detect that and they refund it. And if you look at the like billing history of a Google Ads account, you can see a bunch of refunded clicks. I think invalid clicks they call it, which is cases where Google did identify this and refunded that money back to you. And there's a decent amount of these. Like Google is trying to prevent this on their own.
Right. Like where you get 2 clicks for 1 impression.
Yeah. And they cost $75 each. And
exactly.
Like, how am I going to win when this is going on?
Yeah.
But the software can kind of take that to a next level that Google can't detect. They even have a thing where you export it and then you send it to Google to hopefully get more refunds. But that is pretty hit or miss whether or not it works. What it does is it blocks those IP addresses that have bad clicks so they can't keep spamming you.
Yeah. At least make it hard.
Right? That's the goal, right? It's just to minimize it. And I think ClickCease even says like it's only 30% or 40% effective. But hey, if we can make 30% of your wasted ad spend more effective by using a robot, we're going to do it. And then we're going to go to work on the other things that we can control, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's for us, it's 100% worth it. Well, I know we've talked a lot about Google Ads and we're coming up on an hour here. So I'm curious, what outside of Google Ads or AdWords in general can people do from a marketing perspective to help minimize their ad spend within Google Ads? Because if all people did was Google Ads, like, yes, they could be successful, but now you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. And if that for some reason goes down, or the algorithm changes and your ads no longer show up on top, or the cost per click goes up dramatically, and all of a sudden it's way out of your price range, it's going to completely screw up your marketing plan for the year. And this is something that Sarah had brought up to us, was around supporting your business and insulating your business with a variety of marketing channels.
Yep.
And something that we've seen consistently is brands within a market significantly have a lower cost per click, because people are searching more for the brand than they are for the items themselves in order to reach their goals. Not necessarily saying that they're not spending any less on those terms, but because their branded search is so high, you know, their average CPC is going down for the entire campaign. But just curious, what are some of your thoughts around other marketing channels that people can be utilizing, business owners can be utilizing to really insulate their Google Ads account?
I can answer this one in part, and I'm sure Johnny will want to step in after I give my answer. But ultimately, you want to tackle all areas of the funnel. And like you were just talking about, investing in your brand, diversifying your marketing investments, paying up front to get brand awareness, to get people dropped into the top of your funnel, just so they know your name. And then when they have a problem, they may go back and search your brand. And so you can kind of see how it's not just don't put all your eggs in one basket. The more that you do, it's all going to kind of feed off of each other. And so I think it's important to do email marketing for customers and retention marketing, right? I think it's important to get branding out there through YouTube and Facebook and social channels.
By the way, email marketing is included with ServiceTitan Marketing Pro.
It is also, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to, direct mail, billboard, out of home. So billboards and placement there. And that's becoming increasingly more digital. We're starting to see a lot of trends there. So there's a lot of stuff there. We're seeing more and more options to kind of personalize marketing messages based on the audience that you're marketing to. And so I think there's a lot of cool stuff in that. But ultimately, do it all. Email, out of home, billboards, bus stops, direct mail, Google Ads, GLSA is a really big important one to do. To get your lead aggregators sorted out and make sure that you are tracking them, so you know where leads are coming from, so you know where to invest to try to drive people.
So I want to ask a question on that. I mean, you talk about everything, and you're doing it all, right? Putting your branding and your messaging everywhere. How, and we talked about ROI earlier, and this is where this question stems from. And we had a great guest on our show, Michael Torbe. We also had a soundbite from him about the things that you are doing wrong as a company. I'm not going to talk about it here. Go back, find it on our page, because it'll be there. It's phenomenal in terms of the one thing that you're doing wrong that most people are also doing wrong, but you can fix today. So looking at an ROI, if you're doing your branding everywhere, how can you adequately attribute an ROI to things that people might not remember? Like a billboard, right? They see a billboard, they're driving down the road, and then they hear a radio commercial, and then they see your vehicle, and then they decide to Google you.
So I'd say the e-com world has conquered this better than the trade service contractors world. Like, you can get locational data and see if somebody was at a mall where your billboard was, and then on their device. And then that device is then linked to a common identifier through Telium or another identity management software that the advertiser uses, to where then another device in that household hits the website and then ends up calling or converting as a customer. And so you can get multi-touch attribution kind of drilled down, but that takes a lot of work, and it's not always feasible for like a small business.
I was going to say the running joke we have is, ServiceTitan microchips. Install it into everyone in your city, read their brain waves, and then you can know for sure.
I was about to say, didn't people already get their microchips put in when they took the jab?
Yeah, that was just in Canada.
That's in Alberta.
Yeah, where I got mine, so I'm part of the system. No, that's a really hard one, because you can't perfectly tell. There's things you can kind of do. For example, if you're running a radio ad during a certain time, you can see if there's a spike in call volume or website traffic and try and infer some things. You can look at your organic reports, like SEO reports, and see direct searches for your brand. How is that going? And then kind of put on a timeline with your offline efforts. Outside of that, it's just kind of leaning on industry research of when people have brand exposure, when they know your name, and that's really all it is. Like, they just, ideally they know that you're good too and trustworthy, but just knowing your name, when they go on the Google search results page and they see every option, you have a leg up because they've heard your name before. So you kind of just have to spend the money and trust
The process.
the process.
Well, to bring it back, you look at branded, like to Google Ads, you look at a branded search term, and if they see your company, let's just use our name, HVAC Revealed, the short form of it. If we put a billboard in a truck and a radio ad and a TV commercial, and we have Google ads, and we have Facebook ads, and we have email marketing, we have all these things that everybody knows that they should have. If they see a billboard, they hear radio station, they see our truck driving down the road, and then they Google HVAC Revealed, but then you also have Google ad and you also have your first spot down on there, that click on that number one spot is going to be pennies on the dollar compared to AC repair my city. So you can also track some of the effectiveness of your search terms too, by the way, with Google Analytics, to get in there saying, okay, well, I put a new billboard up. Did my search volume go up or did my search volume go down? How many people click through that via your branded searches as well? So that is one component that you can also look at too.
Yeah. And if anything, be a student of your customers, right? And don't ask the how did you hear about us question when they're trying to book and solve their problem. Ask it after you complete the job and they're happy. Right.
Thank you. That was that soundbite that Michael Torbe did. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He yelled. It was great.
He was very passionate about that answer.
But since you mentioned that, this is the worst thing that a company could do. Somebody answers the phone and they say, my AC is broken. It's not blowing cold air. It's hot as fuck in my house. Oh, great. How did you hear about us?
Yeah, it's like
do you see the error in that right there?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, oh, I don't give a fuck how you heard about me. Like, my house is hot. I'm sweating and my kids are crying. Like, come fix my shit.
Just respond with, how much are you going to pay me? Right?
Yeah. There you go. That's kind of the short version of it, but go back and watch the soundbite.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to go watch it now.
Actually, we should probably put a link in the show notes for later. So
there you go.
You want to, there you go.
Mallory.
Yes, Mallory. That's you.
No, but at the end of the day, if you reverse engineer your customers' buying behavior, right, and if you yourself are within the primary demographics that you're wanting to target, look at how you purchase things, whether that be another home service provider that you don't service within your own company, or even things like e-commerce. Just reverse engineer what it is that you do. What are your buying habits? What does the funnel look like of how you came to a decision? Incredibly impactful for how you view your customers and what it is that you can do to reach them. So great tip. I appreciate that, Dylan. Awesome. Is there anything else that we did not cover today on Google Ads that you want to touch on really quick?
Probably the one thing I would say is we're dialing in being able with our software to identify wasted spend. And I have yet to see an account that has less than 20% of it going to waste. Very often it's 50. I've seen 100 where you're spending $10,000 a month and it generated $0 of revenue. Like, so if you're wondering, is this a problem for me? Like, if you are spending any money on Google Ads, even if you have it dialed in, even if you're doing call listening, even if you're using our technology, because it changes, like, you have wasted spend. Correct. And you absolutely need to get it figured out. If you're not a ServiceTitan user or you don't have Marketing Pro, that's fine. Figure out some other way. Like, listen to these calls, get a system, because you're wasting so much money and Google's laughing and you are crying. So let's change that equation and make everyone laugh.
No, I like that. So I will shamelessly plug one of our things, and I'm going to shamelessly plug you guys after that. So if you're a business owner and you're like, great, I want to have call tracking. It might not be available in your current platform. I might not be ready to go to ServiceTitan because I might be just me, myself, and an office worker, whatever. There is something called omnipoint360.com, or you can just send us a message. Actually, you can text us here, 719-824-1377. Just say OmniPoint, more info, and we'll get that to you. If you are a ServiceTitan user and you do want to reach out to these guys and have that conversation, they have a servicetitan.com/marketing-pro-ads-beta. We, of course, will have these in the show notes for after. You can check that out. If you want to have a question and reach out to those guys, adsbeta@servicetitan.com. Of course, everybody knows their website, servicetitan.com. So check that out. So that is how you can have those further dialogue and further conversations with both Dylan and Johnny.
And one other point, there will be a blog post released tomorrow. It's all typed out. There just isn't screenshots with it yet that we're putting on our site. So I will send that link out tomorrow with 3 things that you can identify in your own ads account, courtesy of knowledge that Johnny has shared with us, and then also things that we're doing within our own agency. So with screenshots and everything, just showing you 3 things that you can identify some wasted spend in your ad account. So watch out for that tomorrow. Dylan, throw it to you. Anything else that you want to add?
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, again, at ServiceTitan Marketing Pro, we've made it our mission to identify wasted spend and help you market like a pro, help you increase your marketing efficiency. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. And Evan, it was so great to be here. Thank you guys so much for inviting us.
Well,
amazing.
We're not quite done yet.
I got one question for you.
All right.
Technically 2, because there's 2 of them. But one of you. So actually, no. I should almost flip a coin right now to see who's going to ask the question first. Well, you know what? Since we did the random question for you, Dylan, we're going to go to Johnny first. No, he points over there. Dylan's pointing at the wall. It's reversed over here.
Yeah, that's where I have it written down.
So we'll go to Johnny on this one first. Johnny, what is one question you wish people would ask you more, but don't?
Specifically about the topic of the day, or just in general?
In general, anything.
Okay, I'll be serious. I won't do the joke. The question I wish they asked me more.
What's your favorite podcast?
Yeah.
HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. I mean, sorry, I answered for you.
Yeah, this is like the hardest existential question. This is a lot harder than Pirates vs. Ninjas, for sure. I wish people asked me. Okay, I'm gonna keep it in the industry because it's too tricky. I wish they would ask me, like, can you look at my ad account? That's what it would be. Because I love it. I love when people show me their ad account and they say, like, find waste and find what's wrong. And then I go in there and like helping, like that's my passion. And that's why I came to ServiceTitan, because I want to be able to scale that passion, I guess. Build software that does it for everyone rather than just one-on-one. But I love the one-on-one. So if anyone's listening to this and they're like, hey, I would like Johnny to look at my ads account, like ads beta at ServiceTitan. Let's nice. Perfect. I would love that. I get so much joy and satisfaction out of it. To the point where I was at a conference a few years ago on stage, and I said, if I can't find $100 of wasted spend in your account, I will pay you $100. Like I would pay for the opportunity to do that. And I never did pay anyone because they were all wasting a lot of money. But yeah, that's mine.
Well, and especially in this space too, like it's very easy to find $100. I did an audit just the other day on just 7 days worth of ad spend it's actually a client of ours who we're just doing SEO for. We're not doing any PPC for them, but they're running their own PPC. They asked me if I could take a look at it because I felt like they were wasting some money, and it was 54% of their ad spend was wasted, and they were only spending, I think it was like $320. Like it was pretty minimal, and still over half of it was wasted. So it's real. Dylan, what's one question you wish people would ask you more, but they don't?
And
Tough
you
one.
even had time to think about this too.
I know,
Good.
and I didn't even have an answer by the time that I had time to think about it. I really wish people would ask me more about what the most common problem is that I see for home service marketers.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the most common problem that you see for home service marketers?
I think being able to effectively measure their ROI across the board. And it's something that we call the brilliant basics of just getting your fundamentals right, understanding what is winning and what's losing for you, and then being able to focus on strategy, being able to focus on messaging, being able to focus on what makes your customer. It frees up all that time once you can kind of take the heavy lifting out of getting dialed in and being able to actually measure. But you want to be able to moneyball your marketing, right?
Just watched that movie a couple weeks ago.
Great movie.
Again, great movie.
I wish people would ask me more what my favorite movie was.
That's what I was going to say for you, Dylan. Because like Dylan, every day it's like, have you seen this movie? He's also really good at restaurant recommendations. It seems like he's a bit of a foodie. And if you're ever in LA, be like, Dylan, where should I eat? And whatever neighborhood you're in, he'll tell you the best place.
And likewise, I hope that if I ever go to Calgary, which could happen soon, you're going to let me know where to eat.
Give me a call. Let's go for dinner.
Nice.
And with you, we can go for drinks.
Yes.
Yes. I got coffee with Johnny and drinks and dinner with Dylan. Perfect.
Maybe lunch and coffee.
Yes.
And, one plug that I wanted to make just for your agency. We're talking about accountability and stuff. And every conversation I've had with you guys, I'm not at liberty, ServiceTitan employee. I play no favorites. I can't say if you're the best agency, but I will say that you embrace accountability more than any other agency that I've talked to. This is you are like absolutely like, if we're doing it wrong, we want to know. If we're not the best agency for someone, like we will help them find the right one. That mindset that you guys have has just been really, really great. So just wanted to make sure I called that out, make sure your listeners know so that you didn't have to toot your own horn on it.
Appreciate that,
man.
I'm gonna anyways on purposemedia.ca call. I couldn't resist.
No, it's perfect.
No, but in true transparency, like if anyone does want to take their ad account and get a quick audit done, like obviously Johnny wants to do it. I mean, if we can't find the wasted ad spend, we'll buy you lunch. Like it's as easy as that. We'll send you a gift card, whatever. Like it's very, very simple for us to find enough wasted ad spend. Like, yeah, we could throw a guarantee behind it, however big, 50%, 20%. I don't care. We're going to find the wasted ad spend because it exists. I guarantee you within the ad account. So reach out to us, reach out to Johnny. We'd love to take a look at your ad accounts and see how we can help. Not a sales pitch, not trying to sell you marketing, none of that shit. Just holding people accountable. Like that's really what it all is about, and providing real tangible results for the marketing industry, for the home services industry.
Yep. I will just say one aside, and I'm going to talk briefly about us. I know we don't generally do that enough on our show, probably for a good reason on that. We will jump on a call with anybody at any point in time if they're ever stuck and work through anything. I spent 45 minutes with somebody last week on a Friday about their Facebook ads account being restricted for advertising. We did a simple Zoom screen share with the annotate feature. We took control of his screen. We went through to try to unstuck his ad account. I jumped on our Facebook ad chat because, of course, we spend dollars with Facebook. We have chat in priority. Same thing with Google and the MCCs. You get that power with that. If anybody's ever stuck and they just want to have a conversation, man, reach out. One of our core values is value first. And if we do that, and it's the same thing with Dylan and Johnny, value first. When you do that, you're going to capture more in the back end than you will on the front end. And that's something that you should almost take in your business as well as an HVAC contractor. Provide that value first. And it's going to help out more people. And when you help out more people, you're going to get better as a business yourself. So
100%. Dylan, Johnny, thank you so much. This has been a blast getting into the weeds of Google Ads, wasted spend, how contractors can truly put more of their dollars working for them. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, cheers.
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 Thank
Thanks
you.
all. Bye.
Well, that's a wrap on another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, two quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one tiny bit of information out of this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all. One person. So they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.